Let's
What's
go,
up?
people.
Here we are. Episode 11. Wow, after that busy week, about 10 days ago, after 3 episodes in 1 week, we had to take a little week off for you guys. I'm sure that was a lot of content for you, but that's what we love to do. So we're going to keep that going. And hopefully a lot of you were able to tune in to our radio appearance. That was a lot of fun. Spinny, do you have anything to say about that?
I think we're gonna keep a little surprise for you again. I think our surprises kind of keep the peeps interested. So if you want to know our surprise early, then let us know. You know, tweet at us, roast us, let us know you want to know our surprise, and maybe I'll tell you. But we've got a surprise related to our radio appearance from last week. So as soon as we know more details, we'll definitely let you know. But if you want to know early, maybe give us a subscribe, and then we'll let you know early. Who knows? Try something for us. But
I like it.
But yeah,
I like
we
that.
got something coming up.
All right, well, let's just dive into episode 11 right away. We got a lot to talk about today, Spinny. A lot of news, basketball news, both college and NBA. The first being my guy, Oscar Chibwe, returns to Kentucky.
I love how you put the thing first that nobody cares about. That's the best part. Literally no one on this pod cares about that at all.
Why do you think I put it first? That's why.
Nobody cares about it.
I put it first because out of all these headlines here, it's definitely the least attention grabbing, that's for sure. But he swept all the National Player of the Year awards last year, all 6 of them, and I actually looked it up. There was 28 players in college history to do that, which I thought was a little high. Yeah, I thought that was a little high in the almost 80 years that this has been a thing, the 6 awards. So I thought that was pretty high, honestly. But however, he is only the 3rd player to return after winning the awards. Do you know the other 2? One was in our lifetime. Blue blood.
Blue blood. Perry Ellis? I'll take a Perry Ellis shot. Ooh.
Tyler Hansbrough.
That makes
he
sense.
Swept all the National Player of the Year awards and returned the next year. Ralph Sampson back in the 80s was the other one to do that. So
is that Indiana?
Honestly, I don't remember what I do have it written down actually. Virginia. Ralph Sampson with Virginia. So exciting for me. Hopefully that that should obviously help Kentucky next year. And yeah, I just thought that was pretty interesting that he returned after winning all of the National Player of the Year awards. So I guess he just wants to finish his degree, and given the NIL and how much money he's making with that, it makes sense to go back.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably making enough money that it doesn't matter too much for him.
Right. It's basically the same amount he would have made as a late first, early second anyways. So
where do you think he's going to go? You think he can go higher than that, stay in another year? I feel like this was his peak.
Let's be real here. If he was still only projected late first, early second after sweeping the National Player of the Year awards, this is his peak.
That's what I feel like too.
He would have to sweep them all again to jump any more, pretty much.
Yeah. I agree.
I think he's kind of stuck. That's mainly because his height, 6'9" center. That's pretty undersized. But his work ethic and his rebounding, he'll find a spot in the NBA as a role player, I'm sure.
Chris Boucher?
Yeah, type player. Jay Wright, though. Spinny, I'm going to let you start with this since this is your guy. This had to hurt you. Did you shed any tears? Was this a tear shedder for you or not quite?
Not quite, but man, I got darn close watching his press conference, man. That was sad stuff.
I didn't get to watch it. Did he tear up?
Yes. Oh yeah, 4 different times he had to stop. It was just coming from no emotion God in Jay Wright, it was just even more right. I mean, it kind of went viral last week, his video of him saying bang at the Chris Jenkins shot, and then just instantly no emotion afterwards. Just yep, okay, sweet, sounds good. It's he would have had the same he would have the same emotion if he missed it or made it. It was just crazy.
Well, but I knew that thing was going in. He saw the he drew up that play and he was confident in it. He knew it was going to go in.
Dang, that was crazy. But what he said was, and it really shows the kind of guy that Jay Wright is. He said that he lost the fire. He doesn't think he can have that competitive, put 120% into the job that he always has. And so that's why I needed to step away. And I think this is especially important for the culture that Jay Wright has, for him to be in it like that, because that's what he demands out of his players. And that's why
Absolutely.
That's the culture he set up. And that's why even some of the top recruits that have been interested in Villanova, he has not been interested in, because they've not been willing to buy in on that level. And so when you're demanding that out of your players, you obviously have to be at that same level. And he didn't think he was anymore. So
one that really stands out to me with what you just said is Javon Quinterly. I would say that's probably the most recent top recruit they had that came in and didn't even get any time, because that attitude, that edge-wise, he wasn't fit in their program in that way. So, yeah, I also have written down here his quote. He always says this to his players. So this like kind of fed into why he decided to retire. You're either 100% in or you're against us. So like you said, he kind of lost that edge in the beginning of the season, and he knew that this might be his time. So, and I agree with that statement. I mean, if you're not all in, then there's no reason to do it. So.
Yeah. And I just got to give credit because I feel like, especially college basketball coaches, that's not necessarily how that goes, and they just grind it out as long as they can. So I guess mad respect there. Kyle Neptune is a wonderful choice. He his first college basketball job was video assistant at Villanova, and then he left, and then he came back and was the Jay Wright's assistant coach for 9 seasons. The last, I believe, 3, he was the associate head coach. And then he went and took the job at Fordham last year, took them from 9 wins the season before to 16 wins last year. So obviously has some coaching ability in there. And he was Jay Wright's pick. So I guess coming from the kind of guy he is and working with Neptune that long, if he believes in him, I believe in him. So I guess we're riding with Neptune.
Yeah, Neptune's the guy going forward, I guess. Well, there it is. Jay Wright retires after 21 legendary seasons coaching college basketball. Yep. Jay Wright, I'll miss you too, actually. It's always sad to see the legendary coaches retire, and I think he's in that class of legendary coaches. I mean, he won 2 titles. So,
and it is something to be said about taking a lesser known program and essentially making them on blue blood level.
Right.
Especially the last 10 years. Like, yeah, Nova's one of those programs. Now we'll see if Neptune can continue that. But Jay Wright was the one that put Nova on the national stage consistently and did it for multiple seasons without like the top one and done recruits. So I think that ability to take a school who had won a national championship before but had never perennially been anything to being a team that's in the tournament every year and has consistently made the Sweet 16. I think 6 Sweet 16 appearances in the last 9 tournaments. So lots of winning there for Jay Wright. So I just had to add that. I think that was a very important legacy piece for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Next, the 2 awards for the NBA that have been announced so far. I find it weird that they've already announced them. This is definitely earlier than in past years, I feel
it at least seems like it anyways.
Yeah.
It seems way, especially the DPOY one. That was like 2 days after the finalists were announced. So I was like tripping about that. But
yeah, Marcus Smart though won DPOY. Not really surprised there. He was the betting favorite. I'm just glad Rudy Gobert finally didn't win, as we said on our NBA special. That's basically all we wanted. So I'm glad Marcus Smart won. That's one of your guys on the Celtics, so I'm sure you're happy about that as well.
And number one defensive team. Once Robert Williams went out, he was definitely the biggest key to that team. Marcus Smart's difference too is on the heart and soul end of defense, as far as like demanding that level out of everyone. And as with the way Udoka has really empowered Smart, he's really been like that guy the whole season. So you can't. I think that was the impact difference for him over Bridges, because I think if you go straight up defense for defense, Bridges might even be a little bit better than Smart on the season. But I think that is what propelled voters to give Smart this slight edge. And I also think that now you shouldn't factor this in when you're doing this award, but I think it's human nature too. The fact that Bridges is young and will most likely win the award at some point, whereas Smart's kind of getting on the downside of what I would say his career would be. So I think that might have played a factor in it as well, even though it shouldn't. But yeah, I love Smart for DPOI. Like I said, glad it wasn't Gobert. His bummy, he should never win another DPOI again.
No more DPOIs for him.
Until you can guard a guard, there's no DPOIs anymore for you.
Until you can step foot out of the paint and
literally
in the
defend
paint,
other than the paint.
Amazing. Yeah.
He's the best defender in the league in the paint. For sure.
But once he steps outside of the paint, exposed all the time.
Yeah. Yep. And
he's got no lateral quickness.
Does he have 2 or 3, Gobert? At least 2. I think 2.
I think 3, honestly. Maybe. For sure 2, yeah.
But he shouldn't have more than 2, and he definitely shouldn't have more than 3. So I think Rudy Gobert's DPOI winnings need to be done. But congrats to Marcus Smart, first guard in our lifetime. The last time when we were born, the year that Gary Payton won, the last guard to win. So that was also cool, especially in a guard-dominated league, in a league that the main majority of big scorers are guards and wings. And so, Smart picks that best guy up every night.
Rookie of the year, Scotty Barnes. I was a little surprised at this. I thought for sure it would be Evan Mobley. But after Spinny, we obviously talked about this, and it had us thinking, why did Scotty Barnes win? And once we actually dived into the stats, I probably should have took a closer look at the stats. They're essentially the most identical comparison ever. Points are the same. Rebounds, Mobley has them by 1. Assists, Barnes has them by 1. So, it's essentially the same. Player efficiencies, similar. Field goal percentage is similar. I would give Mobley a little bit better on the defensive end, but obviously Barnes can hold his own on that side of the ball too. So I was a little surprised, but this award ended up being the closest Rookie of the Year race in the last 16 years since the new voting format. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Do you have the numbers up? I didn't grab the numbers, but I think it was 16 total points different.
Yep, 16. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so that's insanely close. When you look at the stats, like Bus said, 15, 8, and 2.5 for Mobley, 15, 7, and 3.5 for Barnes.
15-point difference. Sorry to interrupt you. I got it up
15-point difference. Okay, and so the only big difference, I guess, was the blocks. Mobley at 1.7, Barnes at 0.7. Steals, Barnes 1.1, Mobley 0.8, so 0.3 difference, a little bit edge for Barnes, but the whole 1 block per game more for Mobley is, I guess, why one of the big reasons I picked him is I thought his defensive edge was huge. Obviously, Barnes is still going to defense and gets the job done, but I just thought Mobley's defensive difference was big. But I don't mind Barnes getting this award either. I think both of them were deserving, and I think Barnes had a greater late season run, whereas Mobley was more early in the year when he was going crazy more so. So I think that played into it a little bit. But again, both these guys are deserving, and as long as it was close like it was, I can respect the call both ways. Plus, the Cavs were a 9 seed, Raptors are a 5 seed. So I think that so I think that difference also obviously could have played into it.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, and looking forward to watching these two guys along with Cunningham and Giddey, all the amazing rookies we had in this class go forward in their cares.
Even Jalen Green. I think people are still sleeping on Jalen Green.
This was an exciting rookie class, and I think a lot of these guys can be dudes going forward for sure.
Agreed. All right, before we jump in, I'm having a little adult beverage today, so I just wanted to shout out. They're not even our sponsor, but they're amazing. Drastic Measures Brewing. You ever want to check them out? They're it's kind of in the middle of nowhere up in northern Minnesota, but our Minnesota people, go check them out. They're awesome. Enjoying one of their great beverages today, so had to shout them out before we get into the Eastern Conference playoffs. And we had a lovely weekend from Dylan's fanship perspective, so I'm gonna let Bus start with our outline here.
Well, the Heat, they're up 2-1 now. The Hawks were able to pull out game 3 in a close one. Trae Young clutch at the end of the
Trae
game
Young
per
game.
usual, as expected. Game 4 is tonight, 6 p.m. This could still be a series. I still think the Heat will be able to pull it out in 5 or 6 games here. But now that the Hawks, won a game, they have a little momentum. So this could still definitely be a series. And obviously they have Trae Young. So
yeah, I have Hawks in 5 or Hawks. I have Heat in 5 or 6. I think that the Hawks might squeak out another game, but the Heat are too deep for them. All right, number 2. This was my favorite. I cannot believe this. I honestly can't. I thought that the Celtics got the win yesterday on midday Sunday. They're up 3-0. Game 4 is tomorrow night, Monday at 6 p.m. We are recording this, by the way, during the Warriors-Nuggets game on Sunday. So we just saw the Bucks take that 3-1 lead. But this probably won't be posted until after that, but that's as updated as we are on the series. All right, back to Celtics. Jason Tatum outscored Kyrie and KD by himself. 15, 6 assists, and 6 steals. The Celtics defense was even on another turn-up level yesterday, forcing so many turnovers, everybody's head. They were not going to let KD and Kyrie beat them. Good on Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown was hooping. He kept him in the game for a lot of the game. I just don't believe. I just can't believe it. I thought Kyrie and KD, even despite the talent difference, would be able to do enough to pull at least 2 or 3 games. But I guess a big thing that I didn't factor in myself was the Celtics' defensive impact on the Nets' role players. Goran Dragic, other than game 1, has played pretty bad. Seth Curry hasn't been able to make shots consistently. Patty Mills has not been able to do what he normally does consistently. And if you're not getting scoring from those 3 guys, then Nets can't guard anybody other than Nick Claxton's decent performances so far this series. But they need production from those guys, and the Celtics defense has really kept those guys in check. So I've just been impressed.
None of those guys can do anything against the switch. That's why it's like,
yeah, they switch everything, and so those guys' exploitations they were getting on the pick and roll, they're not getting because they just switch it. It's just crazy. And
Celtics are exploiting all of the Nets' weaknesses this series.
Rob Will's going to be back, hopefully 25 to 30 minutes in game 4. He played 15 minutes in game 3, 15 to 20. I think maybe 18, but I think 20 was his cap. But he played pretty well. You could tell like he hadn't played in a while. His hands weren't quite the same, and there was a couple things off. But
a little rusty. But
overall they played well. It's just unbelievable. And I have one take here, but I think you have the same take, and you've kind of been on it before me, so I'm gonna let you have it and talk about this game a little bit on your end.
All right, I'm in the same boat as you. This is insane to me that the Celtics are actually up 3-0. This was a tough for me to pick. I originally picked the Nets in 7, but even before I switched it right before we recorded that episode, and I had the Celtics going all the way to the NBA Finals. So I've had faith in them. I've had faith in Jason Tatum, and that's kind of the point you're leaning towards here, I believe. So I'm ready to say it. Jason Tatum is a superstar. I'm ready to say it. I've been saying that he could jump to that level this playoffs, and I said a couple episodes ago that he would jump to that level if they beat the Nets, and I don't even need to see the 4th win. I know if they're really up 3-0 on the Nets already, Jason Tatum's superstar. He's been the best player in the series. Last night, like you said, outscored Kyrie and KD combined. So he's a superstar. There's no other way to put it. And I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to other people necessarily not having them quite there yet. But in my eyes, Jason Tatum is a bona fide superstar in this league for sure.
And the Bucks are going to be without Chris Middleton in the second round. So look out for Celtics Bucks second round. No Chris Middleton. Celtics got home court in that series because the Bucks decided they didn't want to play the Nets in the first round. So look out for that one. I mean, Giannis is the best player in the league, so you got to give the Bucks. Obviously, they're the champs, so you got to give it to them. But I don't know, man. Without Chris Middleton and the way the Celtics defense have been playing, especially if Rob Will and Al Horford, their impact on Giannis, I don't know. We'll see. I think Boston's got a real shot.
I agree. I was literally just about to ask you if they're the team to beat in the East, and given that Middleton injury, honestly, I think they are. As of right now, heading into the second round, I would say the Celtics are the team to beat in the East.
Heat Boston series also scares me, I guess,
Yeah,
because
for
they're
sure.
built very much the same way,
Yep.
and the Heat
match up very
match
well.
up, but they match up both ways, and I think that I still think Tatum's the best player and the best scorer in that series, and I think that Butler's little bit of shot making issues could be an issue when your best player can't make the shots like Tatum can, and Butler can't make the shots like Tatum can. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think right now, given the dismantling we've seen so far, and I know this is going to sound like recency bias, and maybe it is a little bit. But in the last 10 seasons, I have not, in 10 years of NBA basketball since his second year, or since his third year on the Thunder, third year? Maybe fourth year. Sorry, I'm bad at numbers, but I have not, since his very early career, seen KD look like this. I have not seen a single person or a single team that has been able to make KD shoot this bad and look this shook. It's crazy. Maybe it's something with KD. Is. Maybe he's not where he was before. I don't know, but I've never seen this. It's crazy.
Okay, well, this KD point kind of ties in with this last point I want to make about this series. After they won this game, went on 3-0, I've just seen way too much KD slander, honestly, on my timeline. Of course, you can be mad that he's underperforming. He definitely is. I'm not saying he isn't. But the amount of casuals and just trolls and things like that, that's why the NBA Twitter is just so toxic. It's just all these people just tweeting dumb things just to spread lies, essentially. So, like, one thing I saw a lot was comparison. I'm obviously a huge LeBron guy, but people saying, oh, LeBron beat this exact same team, in 7 games by himself. Like, that's the most irrelevant point ever. That was 4 years ago. I think Tatum, Brown, Marcus Smart are a little better now than they were 4 years ago. Like, come on.
And that was Tatum's rookie year, I do believe. And Brown's second year. Yeah. Those guys aren't nearly the same players.
Even close.
No,
I just said Jason Tatum is a superstar.
Yeah.
And when he paid LeBron, he was a rookie. So, like, come on.
Yeah. Literally.
And another one was StatMuse. They always, I like following them because they do tweet some interesting stats, but they also tweet the dumbest things sometimes too. Like, they tweeted a picture of KD and Cat, and the caption of the tweet was, "They're the same picture." And I'm like, how can you be that disrespectful of KD to literally just compare him to Cat? And again, Cat's obviously my guy. I'm a huge Wolves fan, but that's just way too far. So yeah, this 3-0 lead has really brought out the NBA toxic Twitter for sure.
And the Nets are bad. The Nets defense is bad. They can't, they're not as deep as Boston.
The role players are pretty mid.
Boston's deeper. Yeah. Okay, one last thing. I know we spent too long on this series already, but Peyton Pritchard, let's go. Shout out to me for calling that this whole time and rubbing it in Bus's face. Peyton Pritchard has made big shots in this series. That run that they made at the end of game 2 where Brown, they had that, I think, 16-4 run to finish up game 2 there. The only 2 people that scored points in that entire run were Jaylen Brown and Peyton Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard has came in the third and fourth quarters, made some big shots, made some threes, just nice offensive production. Obviously, he can't guard a lick, but he's had some really good offensive production here in the playoffs. And from a guy who at some points in the season wasn't getting any minutes, and I couldn't understand why, to now getting big points in the playoffs, scored double digits twice. So gotta give my shout out to my guy from Oregon.
He has definitely stepped up for sure. Well, these last 2 series, I honestly don't think we really even need to talk about them. They're pretty much all wrapped up. The Raptors were actually able to squeeze out a game and didn't get swept. But I think this is just your classic gentleman sweep situation where...
Oh, you think so, huh?
Yeah,
I think the Raptors might win another game.
I don't know. I'm skeptical because now they're heading back to Philly, and where they were not good in Philly. So I think
back in Philly too, obviously.
Yeah. So I think Sixers are able to take care of business, win that 4-1, and yeah, the Bucs are definitely going to take care of business against the Bulls for sure.
But as I said on Al's show, and as I will say again, as Nick Nurse said, we just got to win one game, and then 3-1's been done before. This has been done before, so you never know. Watch out for the Raptors.
That's actually hilarious that he said that. That's funny.
I love Nick Nurse.
But hey, I mean, from his perspective, you got to look at it like that. Like, it's not over till it's over. So,
and I think he really believes it. So that's the other thing. Like,
yeah,
I know a lot of people hate on Nick Nurse for being cheesy, but when a guy is, you can tell he really puts his work into it, and he's smart, and he believes stuff that's a little more cheesy. Man, that's something that players get behind, and that I think can be a real like fire, is when your coach is that never give up kind of style, and he puts the work in, and he's really smart, and he does things that affects winning. Nick Nurse, hot take maybe. Nick Nurse, top 5 coach in the NBA.
Could be. I wouldn't necessarily be
Nick Nurse.
He obviously won a ring, so he's obviously an amazing coach, and I would have to like look up all the coaches and create a for sure list. But yeah, honestly, he's probably top 5 or very close to it. Now the Western Conference playoffs, a lot of interesting series here.
West turned out to be more fun in the first round than the East. I was a little surprised. I thought these East series might be better, but man, there's been some, other than the Warriors Mavs, the rest of the series have been amazing.
Well, the first series here, the Suns up 2-1 on the Pelicans. This wasn't going to be a series. Let's be real. But with Booker getting injured, it's now a little interesting. Obviously, game 2 was close, and Pelicans were able to sneak that one out, and then the Suns were able to sneak out the game Friday, I believe. So this could be an interesting series. I still got the Suns being able to pull this out, but going forward, especially in the second round against the Mavs Jazz winner, they could lose to both of those teams if Booker's not back. So, which he probably won't be.
Do you think the Pelicans have thought about playing Zion at all? Because I know when Zion wants to play, from reports that came out, there's a difference in what Zion wants and what the team wants. And it seems to me, given the videos of him dunking and all that weird stuff that's came out, that Zion's the one that wants to play, which makes me think the Pelicans are the one that want to keep him out. That's just from the reports, the vibe that I get. And man, I think if you even played Zion 15, 20 minutes, made a difference in this series, I don't know. I think the Pelicans have a real chance
that would
to
make
win
it
this series with Zion and without Devin Booker. So I don't know. I don't actually think that's going to happen, but I'm a little surprised the Pelicans haven't considered it more.
Yeah, that's an interesting note for sure. I think the Suns will be able to pull us out in 6. It could be pushed to 7. They obviously got McCollum and Ingram, very talented offensive players. So, yeah, I'm going to be tuning into this series the rest of the way. So
I trust CP3 too, I guess.
Yeah, I do.
Even with New Orleans, he didn't lose to teams this bad, and
right.
So I just think his point guard skills. I mean, 28 and 14 and 0 turnovers. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, holy cow.
Point guard.
Like, okay, I got to bring this one thing up too, by the way, because it just drove me nuts. This is a first take. And JJ Redick's reaction made me laugh so much that I had to bring it up. I can't remember the guy who was on, but he was trying to make the argument that Bob Cousy was better than CP3. And, and JJ's reaction was just absolutely wonderful. Oh man, about Cousy playing against plumbers and electricians, but Cousy obviously a great player.
That's what I tell my uncles all the time about the older basketball days. I say all those guys, all the greats back then, they played against plumbers and electricians. I literally say that all the time. So when he said that I was geeking out. I was like, of course, it is a line used by other people.
Shout out JJ Redick. You're a boss. I love how he's not afraid to call people out as a former player. That doesn't happen very often, and he's logical with it, unbiased. Oh man, hopefully he leaves ESPN so he can go to a good company. But I love him on ESPN because there is not many former players that aren't biased and are willing to call people out. Those two things together are a rare combo, and Redick's got it. Plus, he's interesting to listen to. Man, I think he's got a good future in here in talking to.
JJ, he'd be good on a bar stool.
Oh yeah.
That is like
Oh, yeah.
JJ Redick vibes. Yeah, he would be amazing on Barstool. I think Dave should look into reaching out to him and getting him
Hire
on
him
there.
up. Hey, JJ
For
Redick,
sure.
come on Hard Headed Sports. We'll hire you up.
Oh,
We'll hire you up
yeah.
right now.
For sure.
You can have all the money from the channel.
All right.
Which is none, but it's okay.
Which is none, but maybe someday. The 2-7. Obviously, this is the Wolves series. Here we go. We tied it up last night. Let's get it back to 2-2 after that abysmal game 3. Spinny, we were there. Wow. I just want to comment on the atmosphere, I guess. That was easily the most lit I've ever seen Target Center. Fans were standing the entire game, and like we had to stand the entire game because our whole section was. And awesome. The crowd was just really loud, really into it. They brought the energy all night. And when they came back, the depression that was filled in the air was
we didn't know
unreal.
What to do. The fans did not know what to do. Like we wanted to cheer so bad, but it just
and we kept trying to keep them energized.
But here's the thing. My biggest takeaway from that, call a freaking timeout. Like, are you serious? Like 21-0 with no timeouts in the NBA? Yeah. What are we doing? And this is coming from Finch, who I think out-coached Jenkins in game 1 and who I think out-coached Jenkins last night. But it's like, the NBA is not college basketball. It's not high school basketball. You can't let runs like that go. Guys are too athletic, too good. They will destroy you. In a 21-0 run, there should be at least 2 timeouts before you get to that point. I was just disappointed with that, especially given a young team. Maybe an older, like, top 5 player ran team can handle that without a timeout and make it happen. But when you're talking about non-playoff experienced guys, I was just really disappointed in that coaching outing in game 3 from Finch. And then in game 4, Cat finally decided he was going to, like,
as you can see from that graphic,
not be a beep and show up and play and be physical and take it to the rack and go around guys. I'm tired of
what you were gonna say is Cat's energy, attitude. Wow, excuse you. That's a brutal one. His Cat's attitude and energy was just, it finally was back, and he needs to play like that every single game. I don't know why he doesn't, but he needs to bring that attitude, that energy, that just aggressiveness for the rest of the series. And if he does, we definitely can beat them. But the one thing that he still needs to improve on, we've talked about this numerous times, is his game awareness. He's still extremely lacking in that. Like the majority, I do think this series, he's been screwed over on a lot of calls. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like you told me yesterday,
I was just gonna ask you to tell him what I texted you yesterday.
So, Cats, if you didn't watch the game or you didn't notice, his first 2 fouls. The first one was with half a second left on the shot clock, and the second foul.
He goes from here to here. With half a second left. If he would have just kept his hands like this and not went for the block, it's over.
So that's the game awareness type thing. You should be aware that there's, only a half second left on the shot clock and not foul. Just stay straight up. The second one, 2.4 seconds left in the half and fouls. Again.
Just sticks his knee out.
Yes. Like just be straight up. Don't end the games, end the shot clock situations. You cannot be picking up fouls. So that's like the game awareness stuff that Cat needs to improve on. And if he's dropping 33 and 14 in the NBA playoffs with essentially no game awareness, just imagine the amount of growth this man can have. He's still only like 26, 27 years old. So, I mean.
And while I don't want to defend Cat, Cat is not one of my favorite superstars. If he wasn't on my team, I would not like him at all. And I would much rather have a different player than him for my team superstar, if I have to admit. But here's the thing. The Cat trash that has been coming before this game was crazy. We had somebody in our fantasy basketball group message going crazy, saying that we should trade Cat for Anthony Simons and Nurkic in a first. But that was all over. The amount of stuff I saw on Twitter about trading Cat for 3 role players, it's like, what? Like, number one, you guys don't understand how NBA basketball winning works. But number two, we're using 7 playoff games for Cat, and we're just making a decision on him already based on 7 games. I don't know. I don't think Cat's a 1 on a championship team, but he's definitely a 2 or a 3 on a championship team. And the amount of hate that has him traded for 3 role players has blown my mind.
Yeah, and you threw out the example of our fantasy our competitor there, however we want to word that. But
Cole Spieldy, you're a rat, and you have the worst Cat takes I've ever heard.
I didn't want to throw it out, but I'll let.
No, Spieldy deserves it. Spieldy deserves it.
Yeah, I just, even on Twitter, there was just too much Cat hate, and people got to remember, we wouldn't even be in this situation if it wasn't for Cat. Cat's the reason we made the playoffs. He was the best player all year. So Cat was that guy this year. His step forward that he took this year is why we made the playoffs, and hopefully going forward, especially next season, 2 years from now, he figures out that game awareness, so then we can take that next step, become
Agreed.
A true contender.
And I think if Ant can be a 1 like you think he is, and Cat is your 2, that's a wonderful combo. That's good for the future. I picked Grizzlies in 7. I'm still sticking to that, given they have 2 at home. But we're cheering on the boys, and I hope the Wolves can pull it off. Series 3.
Hold
Warriors.
on, one more note.
One more thing. Okay.
Desmond Bane. Is this guy like the next Klay Thompson?
Or what?
No, I'm actually serious.
Cow.
He gives me Klay Thompson vibes because of his catch and shoot game. It's insane. His catch and shoot's insane. He's a good defender. He literally gives me Klay Thompson vibes.
I wish I knew how many dribbles he took last night, because I was feeling the same way. Like, right. It was just like this man just scored 35 with like 7 dribbles. So it was nuts. The shots he was hitting, and even like that one from like 3 feet behind the line where he kind of did that like little double clutch thing, and it's still at the end of the shot just looked beautiful and just bang, 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 bang.
Yeah,
bang,
his
bang,
shot
bang.
form is so big.
And there's team awareness from the Wolves too there. Anthony Edwards and D'Lo both like sagged off of him multiple times during that too. That was just driving me nuts.
This is another Chris Finch thing that's driving me insane. All series, he has been killing us. You think he would make a defensive adjustment or at least try something new to take him away, because he's continuing to get wide open look after wide open look. There was one that, like you said, the sagging off. He has Ant tagging on the roll from the opposite corner. Why on earth would you tag from the opposite corner? You're supposed to tag from the same corner. So tagging from the opposite corner, especially when Bane's the only one over there, gives him that wide open shot because Ant's all the way in the lane tagging on the roll. So that's just saying to me.
And you shouldn't be tagging at all off of Desmond Bane. You got to make that adjustment. We can't be helping middle off Desmond Bane. You gotta make that adjustment and bring his defender closer to him and help off somebody else. It's just like those small coaching things from Chris Finch kind of drive me nuts a little bit at points.
They do.
And maybe I don't get it. Obviously, I'm not an NBA head coach, but it just seems like simple basketball things where you just have to change something to not let Desmond Bane hit 8 for 10 threes on you. Like, you got to just like try something.
Right. I agree. Next is the Warriors series. This one's all but wrapped up as well. They're up 3-0. And as Spinny mentioned a while ago, they are playing right now currently. I don't have the score on me, but I'm sure they're going to take care of business and get this sweep. If not, they'll for sure get the gentleman sweep. So look for the Warriors going forward. I'm really excited. Obviously, I want the Wolves to win, but even the Grizzlies-Warriors series, that would be amazing as well. So that second round, Warriors, whoever they face, that would be an amazing series. Looking forward to that. And this Mavs series, I thought it was crazy that I thought for sure they would win and go up 3-1. I'm not going to lie. I thought Luka coming back, that solidified it. Jazz played extremely well, though, and they were able to sneak out that win, and now this is 2-2. I think this is going 7. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, this has honestly been my favorite series. I mean, other than Wolves Grizz, this has been my favorite series. I've watched every second of almost this whole series. It's just been close at every minute. 6, 6, 8, and 1 are the scoring differentials for the 4 games. Crazy overall. I'm gonna renege on my pick and take renege on my pick and take the Jazz. No, I'll take the Mavs. I'm sorry, because Luka came back, and I think that will make a difference in these last 3 games. But I think this is going 7 either way. This series is super close, going well. But I think I'm gonna take the Mavs now that Luka's back.
I agree. I'm going Mavs as well.
All right, there's our playoff updates for y'all, and now we're gonna get into a little bit of one of our random tops here at the start of the MLB season, and just talk about some top batters for you. So I'll let Bus introduce some more and lead us off a bit.
So yeah, this was a topic we've been in talks about having for weeks now. We didn't do the fielders, but we're gonna talk top 5 batters and pitchers today. I guess given today, that's why on my list you see Mike Trout is 3rd. I just had to give it to Juan Soto as the best hitter right now, and Vlad is the 2nd best. Obviously, there's bias there for me. I want to say that right away because these are like 2 of my favorite players in MLB right now, and they're both on my baseball team, my fantasy baseball team. So going to be biased for those guys, but Juan Soto led 300 plus batting average, 30 plus home runs, 100 plus RBI threat every year, led the on base percentage by a mile last year in the MLB. So right now, I just think he's the best batter in the all around batter in baseball. Vladdy, I'll give him 2, given that he almost won the Triple Crown last year. That's crazy to me. I just dropped Mike Trout just because of the injuries he's dealt with these last couple of years. But I still have to put him on this list, just given what he did in his first 7-8 years, for sure. Tatis, it's another guy obviously injured, so I could have slid him off this list. But given what he's done, he's getting almost 30 stolen bases, 30, 40 home runs, 100 plus RBI. It's just insane stat lines this young guy is able to put up. And for my 5th batter, I had to do Bryce Harper. I'm not a Bryce Harper guy at all, but given that he won MVP last year, had an insane year all around, I think he was deserving to be in the top 5. And honorable mention, Ramirez on an absolute tear to start this season. Ridiculous
and last
tear.
Year.
Yeah, Jose Ramirez amazing these last couple of years. This year, wow. Early favorite for MVP, obviously. A ton of season left, but through 1 month into the season, he's the MVP so far in the MLB. And Ronald Acuna, that's another injury situation. But that young guy, what he's been able to do so far in his career, just absolutely outstanding to me.
Agreed. I mean, we essentially have the same 6 of the same 7 guys here. I have Betts over Acuna, but the rest of the 6 are the same. Trout, I believe, is the best hitter in the league. I know we've had some injury concerns given the last couple of years, but I think he's going to get over those. And I just Trout's, his first 7 years speak for themselves. Top 2 in MVP every single season but 1 in his first 7 years. So crazy. Number 2, Vlad, obviously top 3 in average home runs and RBIs last year. So that speaks for itself. Juan Soto, obviously less of a power hitter, more of an on base percentage guy. Led the league in that, right? On base percentage, I believe. Don't 100% quote me, but I'm pretty sure Juan Soto led the league in on base percentage last year.
Yes, by a mile.
Yeah, he's that guy that gets on all the time. So you obviously got to take advantage of that. Jose, crazy end of the year last year, crazy start to this year. He's the guy that I think moved up the most.
20 RBIs.
20 RBIs.
What?
How many games are we in? Like less than that? So
less than 20,
yeah, just crazy start for Jose. And Bryce Harper, won MVP last year, been balling. Tatis, I obviously was number 1 in WAR, number 2 in slugging percentage last year. Killer. So I had to keep him on. Obviously, he's out for the first 3 months. That kind of dogs it. And then Mookie Betts. We're talking about, in my opinion, a top 3 player in this league who was hurt last year and He hurt the year before and then struggled with injuries all year last year. So he's obviously been up and down. But I think if he can stay the year healthy, I mean, this man's an absolute beast. So I think that Betts has got to be considered there too.
Yeah, I just didn't really want to throw 3 guys on my honorable mention, but he was in my conversation as well. It's kind of that same tier as Ramirez and Acuna to me. So Betts is definitely, I would have had Betts in my top 10 at least for sure. Next, on to the top 5 pitchers. I guess for me, it's weird. I know you guys are probably looking at this list and being like, how can you have DeGrom number 1 with the injury situation after you didn't have Trout number 1 with the injury situation? Well, and it's just very simple. I actually do think Juan Soto and Vlad have surpassed him as of now. Maybe Trout can come back and prove me wrong. But I just still think DeGrom, when he's on the field, when he's pitching, he's just the best pitcher in the MLB. He's insane to me. And it was also crazy to me that a number of MLB analysts had DeGrom like not even in the top 5 for their pitchers. So that was, I don't know, not okay to me. Still got him as number 1. Corbin Burns, we're in agreement there that he is the second best pitcher in the MLB. Obviously, pretty young guy, 26, 27, and he just continues to take step forwards every year. My third best pitcher is Garrett Cole. He was my pick this year for AL Cy Young, and I'm a little surprised, not gonna lie, Spinny, I'm a little surprised you don't have Walker Buehler even as an honorable mention. I'm a little taken back at that. What do you got to say about not including Walker Buehler on your list?
Yeah, Walker Buehler was the 7th pitcher for me. I just felt like there might have been a little bit of a drop between these guys and Buehler. I'm a little down on Buehler. Not a huge Buehler guy, but obviously he's definitely in that top 10 range there.
That's fair. And this it's crazy to me that Max Scherzer, we both still consider him top 5 pitchers. This man is like 38 years old, and he is still just absolutely killing it in MLB. He's been one of my favorite pitchers throughout his career, and so I just had him on this list. Honorable mention, I got Bieber and Woodruff. I don't quite think they're up there in the top 5 anymore. I don't think Woodruff has ever really reached the top 5. Bieber definitely did, but he's kind of taken a step back. Hopefully, he can figure that out and take another step forward this year. But I think the batters, I should say, are starting to figure out Bieber a little more as compared to his Cy Young year a couple of years ago.
Yeah, agreed. I'm on the same with you with DeGrom. I think that it's just this man throws a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and a 91-mile-an-hour slider, and it's just the absolute gassiest stuff ever. So I just got to give it to him. Corbin Burns, I think, is going to win NL Cy Young. I think he's amazing. I think he's going to be the next up-and-coming best pitcher in the league. Got to be honest. Woodruff at 3. Woodruff had a bad start to start the year this year, but then he's had 3 straight dogs. And I think that this is finally – I think Woodruff is tired of getting slept on, and I think the Burns-Woodruff combo is going to be man, you're gonna roast me for this, but I think we've got a Tom Glavine and why am I gonna do this to myself now? Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux situation going on.
There you
Burns
go.
And Woodruff. I think that they could both be in the top 5 this year, and I just like the season for the Brewers, and I think both those guys are studs. Scherzer, old reliable. He just gets it done every year. I think he's gonna slip. He just doesn't. So I gotta include
it's insane.
him. I'm just tired of like saying,
how does he not fall
Scherzer's
off?
Done, and Scherzer's gonna fall off this year, and then he never does. So. Right.
It's insane. How literally how?
I don't know. That's why
his velocity barely has dropped. Like he's still gunning the same way he did 10 years ago. Like
it's
how?
Crazy. It's crazy. And then Bieber Cole. I just went Bieber a little bit because of the starts of the season. And Cole has a 6.3 ERA in his 4 starts this year. So
he's struggled so far.
Yeah, he's struggled so far. And obviously I know it's so early. But that's what made this 5-6 decision for me between Bieber and Cole was just the start of the season, and I think that Bieber's going to have a big step up season this year. And then I should have put Bueller in my honorable mention as well. He's obviously amazing, but I think we have the same top 7 essentially. So I think we're kind of in line.
Yeah, we
with
do.
With the pitchers are at. We're just a little off in order. You're a little higher on Cole. I'm a little higher on Woodruff. But yeah, I think this is where we're at in the league right now.
Yeah. So if based on our list here for batters and pitchers, go ahead, drop comments below if you guys have any disagreements. But
did we forget anybody? I feel like we didn't. I did quite a bit of research on this one, trying to make sure I didn't forget anybody, but let us know if we did. I want to know, roast us, let us have it. We want to get some more engagement with y'all, so we can keep y'all interested and slide our content towards more of what you guys want. That's what we're here. We're here to talk about stuff that gets you interested. So let us know, give us some feedback, and we'll change it or we won't. But we'd love to get the feedback either way. Thank you.
Well, Spinny, you know what time it is?
It's time for me to beat your ass in trivia.
No way, bro. No chance.
Sir. Today's my day. Today's the day for the boy. Actually, you got 2 easy questions, but
if it's your day,
get them anyway.
If it's your day today, then I get to ask you the question first. You ready?
Okay, but before we start, we got how much of your Mio do you have left there?
How much of my Mio?
Yep.
This much.
Okay, so loser of today's trivia will be chugging their drink at the end of trivia today.
You're chugging an alcoholic drink. I'm chugging water.
Well, Bus is too much of a whiny person to have a drink with me, so I'll just make him chug his caffeine Mio instead. But he's not gonna win anyway, so it's fine.
All right, I like that little side bet. All right, here's my easy question for you. Which of these 4 feats isn't a Jay Wright feat?
Ooh,
are you ready?
Okay. Yep.
2 championships, Coach of the Decade, 2-time National Coach of the Year, and 2 gold medals. Which of those 4 is not one of his accomplishments?
2 gold medals. He only has 1.
Correct. I figured that would be really easy for you.
I didn't know. I just thought he only had 1 gold medal, but
yep. He won this most recent gold medal as assistant coach. So
yep.
He only has 1 gold medal, but yeah, he was 2010's Coach of the Decade, 2-time National Coach of the Year, and won 2 championships during his career.
So, all right. Your easy question. What country was NBA star Kyrie Irving born in? What country was Kyrie born in?
Australia.
Correct.
Let's go. Yeah, that one is easy. Okay, now I'm switching to a little draft question here. Given that a lot of mock drafts have Aiden Hutchinson going 1, how many defensive players have been picked first overall since 2000?
So we're talking 21 drafts?
Yep, 21 drafts.
So we got Clowney, we got Garrett, we got Bosa, Joey, I think. Nick was 2. I'm pretty sure Joey was 1. 3. We're going to go with 6. Final answer.
The correct answer is 4. Bosa wasn't a first pick.
So Clowney and Garrett.
Yep.
Okay.
I would have to look up the list again. I didn't even honestly write them down. There was in 2000, there was a defensive player as well. I can't remember who it was, but
okay, I'll trust you. I believe you. All right, medium question. This one was tough. I thought it could have been easy too, but we'll see. Who is the only athlete to hit a home run and score a touchdown in the same week-long period?
Touchdown. I actually read about this. I saw like a random article or something about this not that long ago. I'm just gonna go Bo Jackson.
It was a good guess. One of the two guys I would have guessed, but that is wrong. Do you have it? Do you know who it is now that it's not Bo? This doesn't count. I just wanted to give you a rerun. It's Deion Sanders.
It is Deion. Okay.
Yeah.
That was my second guy. I had it in my mind, but for some reason I was like tripping. I was like, no, he didn't play baseball. So
those are the two guys I would have been between as well. All right, give me your hard one so I can W.
Okay. Kentucky question. That's why it's hard, because I know you're not going to get it. Which two? So, as we mentioned earlier, Chibwe averaged 17. Actually, I don't know if I even said it, but he averaged 17.5 points per game this year, which is actually in the Calipari era, the third most that he's had. So, which two players scored more points per game in the Calipari era than Oscar Chibwe?
Do I get a half if I get one?
You can get, so our hard questions are 3. You get a point and a half if you get one of them, yes.
So Anthony Davis, I believe, would be the guy that I would think of. I'm gonna go DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis. Final.
Incorrect.
Both of them?
Both incorrect, yes.
Sheesh.
They're guards. Both of them are guards. Yes. Damn. Jamal Murray and Malik Monk.
Malik
Murray averaged
That's
about
what
20.
I should have known.
Malik was like 18 something.
Yeah.
So those are the two players.
Guards. Dang, I did not think guards. I think we're gonna have to go to a tiebreaker on this one because I don't think you're getting my hard question either.
Does that mean we just both chug our drinks then?
Yeah, I suppose it does.
Yeah,
all right,
let's get it.
What is the name of England's all-time leading soccer goal scorer? English national team, all-time.
You really just threw a soccer question.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's super famous. He's got a name he's got the same name as an NFL owner as well. But yeah.
Same name as an NFL owner. Interesting.
Yep.
I don't really know
last
NFL
name.
Owners very well.
Historic franchise NFL owner as well.
You're right. I'm probably gonna for sure know this guy when you tell me, but I honestly don't have a guess. So instead of sitting here trying
English soccer players, you don't have a guess, huh?
I'm going straight mind blank right now, and like I said, I'm gonna be pissed when you tell me this answer. But unless you want me to sit here in silence for 15 seconds thinking, I got nothing that comes to my mind right away.
This guy that I'm about to say isn't the answer, but I cannot believe you couldn't even say David Beckham, the most famous soccer player probably of all time. But it's obviously it's not him.
I knew it wasn't him. That's why I was not going to throw his name out.
That's fair. The answer is Wayne Rooney.
Oh, Wayne Rooney.
Yep.
I've heard of Wayne.
All-time English soccer leading scorer.
The Rooney Rule.
The NFL. Rooney Rule. Owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last name is Rooney. So are we doing this?
We both have to tie this or chug this drink then, or what?
I mean, the fans probably like it more that way, so we might as well. No, you gotta toast me first. Jeez.
Cheers.
Yeah. I love beating Bus when mine has alcohol in it and his doesn't. We love it.
I have to squeeze it out. You just go.
Squeeze it out.
All right. We're
get up.
I'm not
all right, boys,
any
girls, and anyone else, any other identifications. We are on to the NFL draft. Sorry, this might be a little long and tedious for y'all. We're gonna try to get through it as fast as possible without getting crazy into it, because I know
there is a number of times where Spinny and I pick the same player. So especially as you see at Jaguars.
But if you have any people you think we have way too high, way too low, that's the type of thing we're trying to get replies on here is guys that you think were way off on. So and also guys we don't have in this first round that I think we should. I'm going to start with that. Bryce Hall, I think, is a guy that I don't have going, the running back in the first round that I think could. There's a couple other guys that I don't have as well that I think Christian Watson, the wide receiver from NDSU, I think could be a late first round snag as well. A couple of guys that I just wanted to throw on before we start in the honorable mention because I think they could be first round picks.
There and a couple other ones that I want to mention. I know that you had both of these guys in your first round, but I didn't. Jahan Dotson, wide receiver, Penn State. I didn't have him in my first round, and Boye Mafi, obviously from Minnesota.
So
I did have him in my initial mock draft, but I took him off of this final one here. So those other guys, all these guys that we just mentioned, could definitely sneak into the first round for sure.
Yes, sir.
First pick, Jacksonville Jaguars. I prefer, honestly, them taking one of Akem or Akonwu or Evan Neal, to be honest with you. I'd rather protect your franchise quarterback. But given that the Jaguars literally need everything because they're just terrible, I just think it's going to be Aiden Hutchinson. He's been climbing. Basically, most mock drafts have him as number one. So I just think this is probably the route they're going to go here.
From the sources I've seen it and from athletic articles and different things, Peter Schrager, insiders, I think this is still up in the air. I honestly do.
Yep, it is.
I think it's a two-man race between Hutchinson and Trayvon Walker. Trayvon Walker been one of the biggest climbers that I've seen from multiple sources in multiple places. So I think there's a chance that Walker could be this number one pick here, but yeah, I think Hutchinson is the consensus number one between most experts at this very moment.
Before we jump into pick two, just briefly mention we color-coded the AFC, NFC.
Yes, we did.
Just a random little thing we did here. But Detroit Lions, second pick. I saw, there was a NFL.com analyst. They did, a you're on the board mock draft type situation with the four individuals. So they just went in a row. If you were on the board, you were the Lions, who would you pick? And one of them had them picking Kenny Pickett second. I was like, what are you talking about? They're not going to jump. At least I hope not. Knowing the Lions pathetic organization, they might reach here and pick QB. But as Spinny said, most sources have the consensus 1 and 2 being Aiden Hutchinson and Trayvon Walker. So we're both in agreement here again that.
And I think the Lions might sneak one of those QBs later on.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Agree. Totally agree. So yeah, given that we both had Aiden first, got the Lions going on Trayvon, who's, as you said, been a very high climber after the combine.
Pick 3.
Pick 3, the Houston Texans. Number of needs here. We went a little different route, but we both have them picking the top 2 tackles. No doubt the top 2 tackles in this draft, and both of them are going to be outstanding in the NFL. I'm really high on both of them. So originally I had Akonwu going first. Now I just changed my mind. I'm just going to go with my Bama boy, Evan Neal.
I think Neal's the better tackle. I honestly really do, but experts don't, and draft scouts don't, and people that everything I've been reading says that they think Akonwu's got the highest ceiling and the lowest floor between him and Neal. So I went Akonwu here based on the talk that's going on right now, but I honestly do think Neal's the better lineman here, but I'm in the minority on that.
4th pick, Jets. I think for sure they have the 4th and 10th pick. I think for sure they're going to go offensive defensive combo. That's kind of my thoughts on where they're going to go here. So I think they're going to go with Sauce. I'm pretty sure this is who I had them taking in my first mock draft, and they obviously need a cornerback, and he has great cornerback potential. He could be, one of those next lockdown guys, like your Jalen Ramsey. Obviously, I don't think he could reach that type of ceiling, but he gives me elite cornerback vibes. So I got the Jets going Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, I think Thibodeaux has been my biggest climber so far.
Yeah, he's been climbing.
He as far as from my first mock draft to this one, other than the guy we just talked about, Walker. But Thibodeau's meeting with the Jets apparently went really well. From what I understand, the Jets board is Neal, Gardner, and Thibodeaux. Here is the three guys they're really interested in. Then they had a meeting with Thibodeaux about a week and a half ago, and they said it went super well. They liked his mentality more than other teams do. And again, this is the Jets, so you never know. Issues have come up about Thibodeau's work ethic and his effort, showing kind of again JD Clowney vibes as far as the same thing goes there. But also Robert Saleh wants an edge rusher. Like that's how he bases his defense. That's how he bases his coaching. So I think they're just gonna go out there and take it on Thibodeaux, but it could be Gardner and it could be Neal also here. Lots in play here for the Jets.
Next, the other New York team, the Giants, mainly need tune-ups. Well, they need a lot of tune-ups, but especially on the offensive line. Wow. Brutal offensive line. Get somebody out there to protect Daniel Jones. Seriously. So, yeah, we just flip-flopped our tackles here, and this was complete agreement from what our first mock draft was. We both said that there's no way they can pass up on one of these tackles here at the 5th pick. They should have an opportunity at one of these two guys. So if they pass up one of these guys, that's an L by the Giants to me.
Giants need a pass rusher, and Brian Daboll was brought in because he agreed that he was going to give at least one more year to Daniel Jones. If you want Daniel Jones to have a chance, a very limited mobility-based quarterback, you better protect him, because otherwise, you look at Daniel Jones under pressure's numbers, and they are atrocious. So Terrible. You better get some guys to protect him, because otherwise he's really got no shot. I don't care the type of quarterback developer that Daboll is. I've seen Daniel Jones under pressure. I don't believe in Daniel Jones at all. I think they should take
I don't either, here,
period. But if you're going to give him another year, you better damn well protect him.
Right. And the Giants have the 7th pick again, so they could that was another offense defense. I think they're going to go here with their combo of the 2 picks in the top 10. Carolina Panthers, you have them taking the shot on Kenny Pickett. Most mock drafts have them taking a QB here. A lot of them do have Kenny Pickett being the first one selected. I think they're going to go for Baker Mayfield. Honestly, I've seen rumors about that. So I've got them just going to take a shot. Well, not a shot. Charles Cross would be a great lineman. He's the 3rd best tackle in this draft. So I think they're going to go lineman here and try to get the vet QB Baker. It would be, is my prediction.
I get that. I think that Matt Rule's on the hot seat. I think he knows that. I think he has a lot of influence in the organization. I think he still has a lot of influence in the organization despite that. And I think Kenny Pickett's the guy he wants, because I think he can, as much as I have questions about Kenny Pickett's ceiling, he definitely is the most ready to start in the NFL right now. And that's why I went here for him to Carolina. I think Carolina's taking a quarterback. This is their only pick in the first 3 rounds. They're only picking the top 140. I think that's 3 rounds. So I think that quarterback is their most needed position, and I think Matt Rule, being on the hot seat, is going to try to get the most ready guy to hopefully get some wins and save his job. That's the role I'm going on Pickett here. They obviously do need offensive linemen as well, but I think that Rule's going to take the risk on Pickett's upside as opposed to Baker, the kind of quarterback that you know who he is. It's a weak division, though, and I think that there is a big possibility of linemen and then getting Baker to try to maybe sneak a wild card spot out of this division in a weak NFC. So we'll see.
Yes,
we'll see. Exactly. I could see both. I could see both going, but I think if they do take a quarterback, I think it's Kenny Pickett, just because of the instant startability given Matt Rule being on the hot seat.
I mean, your same reasons you got Pickett going here is the same reasons why I got them trading for Baker. Matt Rule's on the hot seat, wants to save his job. The best way to do that would be getting an experienced quarterback coming in and try to, because they have weapons. They still got DJ Moore and McCaffrey, so they got weapons. Try to win in that absolutely terrible division this year, and obviously they still got the Bucs, but Saints are garbage. So Yeah, that's why I got Charles Cross going here. Next, 7th pick. Again, we're in agreement here. They're gonna go tackle and then hit this edge spot that they are absolutely needing here. Given that I still have Kayvon on the board, he's been a climber that I've seen on multiple mock drafts. So I'm gonna go with Kayvon Thibodeaux here for the Giants pick.
Yeah, and I just went with Jermaine because I think he is the best pass rusher available at this point. If Thibodeaux and Hutchinson are both gone, Jermaine is obviously a Minnesota native, so I'm a little biased toward him. He went to Eden Prairie High School and then went to Florida State. I hope he drops lower, so maybe the hometown team has a chance to snag him up.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
No, I wouldn't be opposed to that either for future. Pass rushers are, man, how do you beat good quarterbacks? Get to them. So I think the more pass rushers you have, the better. I love Jermaine Johnson. I think the Giants are going pass rusher here. So if Thibodeaux's gone, Johnson's the next best availability here. And I hope he doesn't go here because the Giants are the place that players go to die right now. So I hope he gets a better draft slot than this
situation.
But I love Jermaine and I hope to see him succeed in the NFL.
Next, Falcons. Here's where I have my first QB being taken. As I said, the Panthers, I do think Kenny Pickett will probably be the first QB taken here. And this obviously fills the need after trading Matt Ryan. They need a quarterback now. So I think they're going to take a shot on Kenny Pickett as their guy going forward.
I like Malik here just given that they're planning on starting Marcus Mariota for this year. I think that Malik has very similar, especially leg-based skills as Mariota. I think it'll be wonderful. Malik will not start season one no matter where he goes. He's not ready. He has not enough reps. Very Trey Lance-y coming here from Malik Willis. But he definitely has leg ability and arm ability. So if Mariota can help him learn how to balance the leg and arm ability in the NFL. Malik Willis obviously has the strongest arm of any of these guys, and I think the highest ceiling, but probably the lowest floor as well. So I think learning a year behind a professional like Mariota would be very good for Malik, and I think that's kind of what the
pretty
Falcons
similar
have.
play styles too for Mariota.
Yeah, except obviously Willis can throw it twice as far as Mariota.
Yeah,
he's got a way higher arm upside given that. But I think this is a good pick for the Falcons, and I think they're hoping to lose a lot of games this year, get a top pick, get Malik maybe another wide receiver weapon next year, the top available guy, and then you put him with that guy, Pitts and Malik. And I think that's the future plan for the Falcons. But I definitely think they're going quarterback here. I just like Malik over Pickett because I think they're going to sit their guy for a year.
I still honestly don't think I'm not high on any of these quarterbacks.
No, I'm not.
I personally don't even want any of these quarterbacks going in the top 10, but given how obviously it's a quarterback league, Malik's
the only guy in my eyes that has top 10 potential ability that could possibly make that pick worth it, but he also has such a low ceiling. I don't think Pickett or Ritter or Howell or who else am I missing? Pickett,
Corral.
Ritter, Howell. And Corral. I don't think any of those guys have top 10 quarterback ability. So I think the reason I have Willis here is I think he's the only one that does.
So every 8 picks, we're splitting it up a little bit so you guys don't have to watch 32 picks in a row. That would
you guys are – you aren't annoyed yet. Wait, you will be. You will be. Just kidding. Exactly. Is this mine or yours, boss? I can't remember.
This is mine. So
all right. We're just gonna have one. We're just gonna have one question. The other person's gonna answer, and we'll just have a little fun with it. Try to break it up for you. Maybe I'll take another. I repoured half a drink here, so maybe I'll take another quick slammy if I get it wrong.
Sunday scaries for Spinny today.
Yep.
All right, your question here about the NFL draft. We've already kind of talked about this. The last non-QB selected first overall. Who was it?
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett. Correct.
Yes, sir. Myles Garrett. Yeah, game-changing pass rusher, though. Obviously deserved to go number one. Boss.
Agreed. All right, 9th pick, Seattle Seahawks.
Sauce Gardner, baby.
Everything you said about Malik Willis, this is exactly why I got Seahawks going here. Trading Russell Wilson kind of, has a similar play style to Russell Wilson. So I think this kind of fits the Seahawks mold. And this is another team that's okay with losing, I feel like, this year. So they can throw him in behind Drew Lock and just let Drew Lock be the starter for the year. Malik, can learn the professional aspects of the job in the NFL from Lock, kind of in the same situation as you had Malik learning from Mariota. Not the greatest quarterbacks to learn from, but again, they're professionals. They've been in the league multiple years, so still decent guys to learn from. And obviously he already has weapons, and he'll still have DK. Who knows if they'll lock it by the time Malik is ready to play? But I like the Seahawks going Malik Willis here.
This worries me a little bit because I don't think Drew Lock is professional, and I think this would be a bad combo for Malik. But I do like the team pick. I think it's the guy that they need.
Do you think maybe that he could start actually at Seattle?
Maybe. I see Malik as really raw. I just don't know. I think if you put him in, you see a lot of like how Justin Fields looked in Chicago in his first couple starts, where he looked like he shouldn't even be anywhere near the field. So I think that scares me with Malik a little bit. He might lose his confidence type of thing, but I think no matter where he goes, he's not starting. But I think his best shot to start would be in Seattle, given that Drew Lock is not really on Drew Lock for me. I went Sauce Gardner here. I think the Seahawks with Pete Carroll go back to their defensive roots. They get a guy that could be an anchor for them, like Sherman type of guy that was. Obviously, he doesn't play the same style of corner, but I think that they're looking for a defensive anchor here. You can put him next to Jamal Adams, and hopefully your back end is better. Obviously, Seattle gave up way too much for Jamal Adams now. They look like idiots. The Jets got a top 10 pick out of it. Obviously, he's worth way more than Jamal Adams. So shout out to the Jets actually making a good play. But I like Seattle going defense here, given that that's just Pete Carroll. He thinks the NFL's how it is 20 years ago, and I think he's still going to focus on defense.
Good points there. 10, New York Jets. As I've said, I anticipate them going defense-offense combo. They badly need offensive weapons for Zach Wilson. And so I'm going to stick with my original pick here, Garrett Wilson being the first wide receiver selected in this draft.
I think this starts the corner run there with the Jets or with the Seahawks at 9, and then the Jets go 10 with Derek Stingley, who I think is the second best corner. Again, I'm on solid going defense, trying to solidify that really up. They do have a couple other good defensive players there. So I think they could make a really cheap, good defense and then maybe try to move forward with the offense in years to come. I just think Saleh's a defensive building guy, and he's more looking for the Brady Patriots good quarterback defense model than good quarterback offensive weapons model. So I think that's just where they're at culture-wise, so that's why I went Stingley here.
11th pick, Washington Commanders. I got them going Kyle Hamilton here. This is just kind of a situation where I just can't picture him falling any farther. This is already my first mock draft. I have him going 3rd overall, so I already have him 8 spots lower. So it's kind of hard for me to see him dropping any farther than this. So I find this as just you got to pick the best player available type situation. So I got the Washington Commanders going Kyle Hamilton.
Agreed. I see that from your perspective, and obviously if I had Wilson going before, I would have said the same thing. But I think the Commanders are going to try to set Carson Wentz up for success so they don't look stupid in that trade that they made for him. I think if you give him Garrett Wilson and Scary Terry combo, I think that
would be nice.
Something he could do something with. So I think they're trying to make themselves look better and go with a guy that can help out Wentz here on offense.
Our pick, Minnesota Vikings, have the 12th pick this year. I'm sticking with my original pick, Derek Stingley. We need cornerbacks. I'm totally okay with your Kyle Hamilton. I'm assuming you just got him going here because of what I just said. Just can't fall any farther than this, right?
Yeah, and the 40 times obviously going to drop Hamilton. But if you look at great safety 40 times in the past, he's about on par with every single one of them. So I think teams are a little scared that he's about to keep up with NFL speed. And I'm obviously a little worried about the Harrison Smith, Kyle Hamilton, using them both together, given that neither of them have that top end over the top speed. But I think that Kyle Hamilton has the best chance to be a consistent all-pro player. And I think at pick 12, that is what you're going to take over team need at this point. I think if Stingley, Gardner, or Hamilton are available at this spot in the defensive backfield, they will take them. If all three are gone, I think Trent McDuffie is a pick that the Vikes will go for here. I think they're going edge or corner here. I really, really, really do. Yeah, I'm going to go with Hamilton, but I'm low-key hoping for Stingley myself, as I think we need more cornerback help than a safety help. But I just think Hamilton's possible upside is way too much to pass up on this point if he's still there.
I've also seen that we might move back. I've seen a lot of rumors that this is a jumping spot for teams later in the round. They want to come up and jump to pick 12 to pick their guy. So I've seen potential rumors that we might move back. I hope not, because I would rather just have one of these guys, but we'll see. Next pick, Houston Texans, another first-round pick for them. Again, this is, I hate to, continue to use this point, but if Jermaine Johnson's available at 13, to me, that's just too far that he's fallen already at this point. And this obviously fits a direct need the Texans have. And again, this is to win in the NFL, you need a good quarterback, and you obviously need people to protect the quarterback, but you mainly also need guys to get to the quarterback. That seems to be the recipe nowadays in football. And so, yeah, I got the Texans going Jermaine Johnson. Great pass rusher from Florida State. Yeah,
I think Texans are going to go best available here. They just want talent wherever it is, and that's why I went Jordan Davis. I think he's the best available talent left here, and if Johnson was, I think he would be too. So I think Houston's just trying to get players right now. They have so much to build that they're just going to take best available.
Yep, agree with that statement. And this was another type of situation where the Ravens are obviously a competitor already. So they're just looking for minor tune-ups here and there. And Jordan Davis, another situation where this is a player that if you get him in the middle of the first round, he could potentially perform as a top 10 pick. So he will be available in this range. And given that the Ravens are already competitors and actual contenders, in the AFC, I like them going a defensive player here and trying to beef up that defensive line.
And I feel that. I think they're going O-line or D-line here. I don't really think Charlie Cross is probably going to fall this far. I think he might go before this, but I just couldn't find a fit for him up until this. I think the Ravens have a huge chance of going O-line here. They could even go Trevor Penning if Charlie Cross is already gone. But I think that with Lamar and given how their offense is based, you want big old men that can push the other side. And that's how the Ravens run their offense. So I think their OT need to replace Orlando Brown Jr. comes here with either Cross or Penning.
Philadelphia Eagles, 15th pick, number of needs, especially mainly on the defensive end. I got them going. We both have them going wide receiver, which I find a little interesting. But I got him going Jamison Williams. I've seen him start climbing the boards again. A lot more. Obviously, he tore his ACL, so he's not going to be ready to go by the beginning of the season. But I'm seeing him climb the boards, given his upside and his speed. And I like, Eagles trying to pair up Jamison Williams with former teammate Devontae Smith. So I like this pick here by the Eagles, and I could see them going Olave as well. So I'll let you talk about Olave.
Yeah, I guess if I was going to order the wide receivers, it would be the guy we both had first there, Garrett Wilson, and then I'd go Drake London, and then I'd go Williams, and then I'd go Olave. I think that the Eagles shy away from Drake London because they've had crappy effort with taller, big-bodied receivers that maybe don't have the speed going. I think they have a bad history with that. Given Jalen Reagor and other slow receivers that have never been able to keep up with NFL speed. So I think that's why they go Olave here. I think he's got that speed thing. And I think Jamison Williams' ACL scares people, even though I think he might be the most talented receiver. I think without injury, Jamison Williams might be the first receiver taken off this draft because this man can burn. And so the only reason I have Jamison Williams falling is I think the Eagles are a little scared of the injury concerns, but that's why I went Olave here over Williams.
Next, the Saints. We're in agreement. We got Jake London going here. They obviously need more playmakers as well as the quarterback, obviously. But as we've just said, Drake London, one of the top wide receivers. I for sure think he's a top 3 receiver in this class. It's tough. It's close. A lot of these guys are pretty similar in my eyes. I don't know if any of them will be 1s in the NFL, but there's a ton of really good 2s in this draft class for receivers.
And
so
London reminds me a lot of Mike Evans. That's the ceiling comp, I think, for him. And the Saints need more of a big body downfield receiver like that to complement Michael Thomas's underneath skills. So I think that combo really just works well here with London and Thomas.
Yep. London, Thomas, Kamara. They could actually, that's a nice little trio of playmakers there.
Especially in a crappy division.
Yeah.
And you saw Winston had success last year, but pre-injury as well.
Yeah, he did.
I think with those 3 weapons, they could be possibly successful. All right, you're sleepy by now. I know you are a hard-headed fan, but we're going to try to keep you awake during this time. And
we're halfway through the draft.
We're halfway through. Bus is going to get this question wrong, even though it's an SC North question. And so here we go.
All right.
I decided to make this one about Packers failures because that makes me really happy. Okay. Packers drafted lineman Tony Mondurich over which top 5 all-time running back? This happened in the draft during the 1980s.
During the 80s. Top 5 running back. I'm just going to go with Barry Sanders.
Correct. Barry Sanders. 1989, the Packers drafted Tony Mondurich, who was bad with them later, kind of revived his career with the Colts, drafted them 2 picks. I can't remember if the Packers had picked 2 or picked 1, but Sanders went 3, and the Packers took this lineman with either pick 2 or pick 1 over
Let's
Barry.
go.
Barry, obviously, in my opinion, best running back of all time, but for sure top 5, no matter what you think. So we love the Packers messing up and giving the Lions great players.
Let's go. No Barry Sanders for the Packers.
Nah,
that's amazing. I didn't even know that was a thing. So that made my
1989.
All right, Chargers 17th pick. Both of them going linemen. I was torn between Penning and Linderbaum. I can see them going both ways here. So I'm not opposed with your pick here, but they need linemen to protect Justin Herbert, who is clearly the franchise quarterback. Dude is an absolute stud. So I can't see them going different than linemen here, but maybe. Agreed. But I'm getting lineman vibes here.
Agreed. I think they're going to pair Penning and Slater and have a double stud tackle combination in their eyes. But I think they're going lineman here also. I want to walk back to trivia one more time because I just looked it up to make sure what pick they had, and it made me even more happy with the Packers. So
1 and 2 or what?
The top 5 picks of the 1989 NFL draft, 4 of the 5 of them were Hall of Famers. So I'm going to just walk you through the pick here. Pick 1 was Dallas, Troy Aikman. Pick 2 was Green Bay with Tony Mandarich, who had career, how many Pro Bowls? 0 Pro Bowls career. So that's good. Pick 3 was Barry Sanders, obviously Hall of Fame running back. Pick 4 was Kansas City with Derek Thomas, Hall of Fame linebacker, amazing. And pick 5 was Deion Sanders, probably the best corner of all time. So we love Packers L's, and 1989 was probably the biggest Packers L draft that we've seen. So we love it.
That's actually hilarious that they took that big of an L. Oh my gosh! All right, 18th pick, Eagles on the board again. Given that we both had them going wide receiver, it makes sense to go defense because they need more tune-ups on defensive end than offense, in my opinion. So we're in agreement here. Devin Lloyd, stud linebacker. I think he'll be a great linebacker in the NFL. His floor is really high in my eyes. I think this guy can come in and produce right away.
Devin Lloyd could be a top 10 linebacker in the league, I believe. I believe he has that top potential. I just think linebacker is a position you're a little nervous about, but his side-to-side athletic ability covering the field is crazy. So I think there's concerns about him given his coverage ability and reading passing, his pass coverage ability and kind of how to read that in zone coverages, but his coverage tackling wise, side to side on the field is obviously crazy. So I think there's a big upside here for Devin Lloyd. And like you said, I think the Eagles definitely go defense if they take a receiver first. I think they're going receiver defense no matter what here.
Saints back on the board again, 19th pick. I got him going Sam Howell. Not very high on him myself, but I've seen articles that they like him. So obviously they really need a quarterback. They could obviously play Jameis, and Sam Howell is just a guy that could come in and sit behind Jameis at least for that year. And, maybe he wins the starting battle between Jameis and is that quarterback this year, but they need a quarterback. So I got the Saints going Sam Howell here, who I've seen, as I've said, they're high on. So
yeah. I went with George. I think it's
Karlaftis
here. Karlaftis. Okay, so I was wrong. Karlaftis here. He obviously had an amazing 40 time, ran under a 4.7 for an edge rusher, which is crazy. I think that's why he'll take a big jump here. I think the Saints are trying to put someone opposite Cam Jordan, get to the opposing team's quarterbacks. They're another team that might look for instant talent to try to maybe sneak into the playoffs this year. I think George will be one of the highest climbing guys, given how well he did at his combine and his pro day. So I just went pass rusher here. I think the Saints might go win now more than future.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Wow, we're in agreement here that they're going to take a shot on Desmond Ridder again. It's another QB in this class I'm not very high on, but he obviously played really well in college, especially this last year. And Steelers, I'm assuming Mitch Trubisky's not the answer for them. So I think Desmond Ridder is a guy that could at least just sit behind Mitch Trubisky for the season. Don't you agree with that?
I think the Steelers want Malik here, ideally, but I don't know if he'll make it back this far. I think Ritter's kind of the low-key Malik, maybe with a high ceiling type of guy. And I think that Trubisky will be their starting quarterback this year no matter what. So I think they're going to have Ridder try to sit and learn behind him. And one thing about Trubisky, this man is a professional, doesn't mind leading, great leader, great teacher, really a good guy overall. So I think it would really benefit a rookie quarterback, no matter who it is, to learn from Trubisky, given his experience and ability. So I think that the Pittsburgh goes quarterback here, hoping for Malik or Kenny, but probably ending up with Ridder, Howell, or Corral here.
Spinny, your other team here, Patriots, they got a 21st pick. Again, we're in agreement. Trent McDuffie. This is kind of a situation to me where at this point in the draft, if he actually has fallen to pick 21, he's, in my eyes, the best available player. And he's the third best corner in my eyes behind Sauce and Stingley. So this seems to be the Patriots, draft strategy. They usually just pick the best player, and because they can always just figure it out. So whoever they have on their board as the best player at this pick is who they're gonna take, regardless of the position needs that they have. But this still does fill a position need they have, and this kind of, I don't know. They're like obviously a defensive minded team, Bill Belichick. So that's why I'm having them go defensive player here rather than grabbing another weapon or offensive lineman, for example, for Mac Jones.
Yeah, I think McDuffie could actually go as high as he go as high as 10 to 12. I think so. I guess that's why I went McDuffie here. I think he's definitely the most talented left. I think there's a good chance he's gone, and the Pats go Kahir Elam from Florida here. But the way that chips fell for me today, McDuffie drifted this far back, And I think if he's here, the Patriots take a no-brainer.
Green Bay Packers, they also have 2 picks in the first round. A lot of teams actually have 2 picks this year, first round. I feel like it's way more than in the past. There's actually a lot of teams with multiple picks this year in this first round.
A lot of big trades that involve first round picks to get guys here. I went with the Packers with Williams because again he's a burner. I think he has a huge high upside. And I mean, I just have nightmares already of Jamison Williams getting absolutely bombed 80-yard passes from Aaron Rodgers and just how nasty that would be. So yeah, I think they go speed receiver here, and these are the best 2 speed receivers.
Yeah, so I'm in complete agreement there. If I would have had Jamison falling this far, I would have had him over Olave, but complete agreement that they obviously need another weapon. They just lost Devontae Adams. They need that downfield threat. And
Sammy Watkins isn't going to be enough. Sammy Watkins and Allen Lazard isn't enough for you.
I don't think Allen Lazard and Sammy Watkins is enough. So obviously, Deebo Samuel's on the trade block now. There's other moves that they could make, but if they haven't made any other moves by Thursday when the draft starts, they're going to go receiver here. And the way I had the draft going out, Chris Olave would be the best downfield threat at this point available. So Packers won't be able to pass up on a good receiver at this pick. 23, the Cardinals. I'm still torn. This pick has always been tough for me because I can't decide what route they're going to go. I see you stuck with your playmaker route as you did last time, and honestly I don't even remember my first pick, but I'm going Zion Johnson. Great offensive lineman from Boston College. He's capable of playing tackle and guard position, so I like that versatility. And Kyler Murray completely shut down those trade rumors, so I think I'm assuming they're still, he's the plan going forward. So you obviously need linemen to protect your franchise quarterback. So I went Zion.
Yeah, I just want receiver here because I think Kyler Murray's really good at avoiding the rush, and receivers are more important for his style of quarterback than linemen are. And that's why I went Treylon Burks here. They obviously lost Christian Kirk. And so their second, Rondale Moore, but I don't know if he's more than a slot receiver glorified. And if DeAndre can stay healthy, who knows? But I think Kyler's escapability allows you to maybe push linemen off another year or two and go that real playmaker that Kyler needs to be productive.
I like it. I like that opinion. Dallas Cowboys 24th pick. We both have him going defensive player here. I got him going George Karlaftis. And I hate to continue to use this point, but he's just a guy that if he falls this far, I can't picture the Cowboys passing on him. He's amazing. I'm really high on George. I'm not gonna lie. I think he'll be a great pass rusher in this league, and it fits a direct need that they have. So I think having why am I drawing a blank on the GOAT rookie linebacker they have?
Michael Parsons.
Yes, thank you. I think pairing him with Michael Parsons as your rushers would be amazing.
Yeah, I think if an edge as good as Karlaftis falls as far, Dallas will take an edge here. I just think those top 5 edges are all going to be gone, and that's why they go Daxton Hill. Sure. Daxton Hill is obviously the second best safety. He has a lot of good upside, and I think that this position might be a little less impactful maybe than edge rusher, but I just think they go best talent available, and I don't know if any of those talented edges are available. I like the Darnell Savage comparison for Daxton Hill. Maybe some big playability at times, but more of maybe a 5 to 10th best safety in the league who doesn't really give up big plays. And I think that's the Dax Hill vibe. And he's super athletic. He can play multiple spots given his athleticism and versatility. And he's still good on deep coverage too. He just doesn't make a lot of those Kyle Hamilton type where you go, holy crap type of plays. He's not that guy, but he is really solid and very rarely makes mistakes. And I think that's a type of player that Dallas really likes in their sketchy secondary.
Yeah, Dax, he's really high floor. for all those reasons you just said. His floor is extremely high, but his ceiling just isn't much higher than his floor, I would say.
I agree. I don't think he necessarily has that top 5 safety ceiling, but I think his floor is high as well. I agree. Are you still awake, people? Dead, alive? What's going
still
on?
Listening?
I'm
hour 40
already. But I think you guys are still
good.
here. I think it's been good too. We try to not be as boring and monotonous as we can be sometimes. So I hope y'all are loving it.
Yeah.
We love you. And I think this is my trivia number 2, or is this your trivia number 2?
I'm asking you this one.
Oh, okay.
We switch every other. Come on now. It was me, then you, and now it's me again.
Oh, it's not Snake?
Shut up. All right, you're not getting this right at all. But I just wanted to put this in just because it's an interesting stat. 3 teams have actually never had a first pick overall.
You did not use this too. This is my question. It's my last question was which team hasn't had a first pick in the last 35 years?
Okay. Well,
one of the teams is the Seattle Seahawks that I know for sure.
Give me the other 2.
I don't know the other 2, honestly. The Seahawks came in 67, so they were the only one that made it with that long of franchise ability, but I don't know who the other 2. Tell me.
The other 2 are the Ravens and the Broncos. So Seahawks, Ravens, Broncos have never had a first pick. So that's pretty crazy. I'm just gonna quickly switch my questions because yours is so similar. So we just have another interesting question.
Oh, but I have the only question left, so I'll just look up another one, buddy.
Well, nope, I'm still asking you this one because I want to.
Which
2 teams? Which 2 teams are tied for the most first overall picks in NFL history?
Lions and Browns.
Wrong. Colts and Rams.
Colts and Rams? Okay.
Colts and Rams, obviously they've both their franchises have been in different locations throughout, obviously. But they've both had 7 first picks in their history. So back to the draft. Spinny, while we're doing this, go ahead and look up a different question.
Yep, I got a good one for you.
But
I want to hear Elam here because I think that McDermott, again, is a defensive-based guy. I think they liked what they got. They still have Devin Singletary, right?
Yeah.
I think they like what they got at the end of the year from him. He seemed to maybe step up his production a tad at the end of the year. So I think that they might try to roll that out another year and go defense, get another DB to add there. And I think Elam, who has some very Jamel Dean vibes. If you watch the Bucks, that's kind of what he reminds me of. Maybe a corner safety hybrid nickel guy that can do a lot of things on defense. And that's the type of guy McDermott likes. So I love Elam here.
I'm going Bryce Hall. I agree with you that I think the Bills liked what they saw from Singletary at the end of the season and the playoffs, but I still don't think that they view him as the answer. And I think Bryce Hall is going to be really good in the NFL, and I definitely think he's the best running back available in this draft. So given how much of a contender the Bills are already, I think adding an elite rookie running back, Bryce Hall, to their stacked offense could push them over the edge potentially and make them a legit Super Bowl contender. Titans, 26th pick. We're in agreement. They need cornerbacks at this point.
Best corner available. Andrew Booth. He's solid. I mean, he's really solid. I like his game. And this is another contender that, just needs a couple more pieces. So adding a quality corner in Andrew Booth Jr. would definitely do that. 27th pick. Your now team again, since your ugly Tom Brady is back. I just have to say for the viewers, this is not my team at all. I am bandwagoning the crap out of whatever team Tom Brady is on until the end of the season. It's still your
team now.
It's my bandwagon team, but I just have to admit to the viewers that I'm just a Tom Brady stan. So we're just like sliding on the Tom Brady teams till my favorite player of all time retires. So don't hate on me too much, but that's why we're bandwagoning.
So, given they have Tom Brady and they're obviously completely invested in win now, I got them going Khalil Lamb. I think cornerback is a direct need they have. Their cornerbacks were not good last year at all, and I think this can help boost up their secondary a little bit. There's a number of different paths that they could take for a compete now situation, such as linemen, or even the stretch pick here with Boye, just taking that pure athleticism. He could come in and make some noise right away. But I got to go Kier since such a pass dominant league. They just got to beef up their secondary.
I see that argument. I just think Kahir's too similar to the type of guys they got, and he's not necessarily that one-on-one defender guy that they need. I think that's why they skip on him and go Meafe here from the U. Welcome our first Gopher taken today. We love it. 2 Gophers going in the first round back-to-back years. Also, the Bucs have a history of taking Gophers, Tyler Johnson, Antoine Winfield Jr., and so I think that this is a pick they need to get to the other team's quarterbacks, and I think he's been rising on a lot of draft boards, deservedly so. So I think Meafe gets the snag here by the Bucs at the end of the round.
28th pick is the Packers' second pick, and I guess we're in agreement that they're going to go lineman here. This made sense for me. This is kind of why I had Linderbaum switching with Penning, because the Packers, I don't know, they clearly need a right tackle. So this he'll slot in really well, and Penning should be a quality tackle in this league. I like the linemen in this draft, especially the first round linemen. I think all of them can be pretty quality linemen in the NFL. And with the a Cam and Evan Neal being, I think, could be elite top 5 potential tackles in the NFL. So I got Penning here to help protect Aaron Rodgers.
I think Linderbaum could end up being the best lineman out of this draft. I honestly do. It's just he's a center, and you don't draft centers that high. Corey Linsley left before last season, and I think Aaron Rodgers has struggled not having that center relationship with Josh Myers that he had with Linsley. So I think they try to bring that back with Linderbaum, another Iowa guy that could really be a top center. It's hard to say how far up you draft centers here. So I think that's why he dropped the Packers here for me.
Kansas City Chiefs, they have back-to-back picks here at 29 and 30. I'm going to have them go straight defense. I know they lost Tyreek, and they could use another receiver. Wait, is that what I had? No, I didn't. So ignore what I just said. But
liar.
I did think about that at least. But Dax Hill, as Spinny said earlier, second best safety in this class. They need a number of different defense positions. So I just got them going Dax Hill.
Yeah, I think they might even go Kyler Gordon over Dax Hill here, the other corner from Washington. I think he has a chance to go here. The only reason I went Devontae Wyatt is because Kansas City would be ecstatic if this man made it this far. A lot of drafts have him 10 to 15, higher ranges. I just think the interior defensive linemen, people are a little hesitant to jump on. But I think Wyatt could jump in and be an impact right away, and I think that's what the Chiefs love is his 3-down playability. A lot of Chris Jones here in Devontae Wyatt, and then it gives you the ability to move Chris Jones back outside with Frank Clark, have both those guys on the outside, and then have Wyatt more in the middle. So I just think this is a most impactful instant player available left. That's why I went Wyatt here.
So we both have him going receiver here to help try to fill that void by trading Tyreek Hill, which I still think is probably the right move given how much money he was wanting. But Treylon Burks, he's still on the board for me, and at this point, he's definitely the best wide receiver available. I think he would fit in really well with the Kansas City's offense, and I mean it's Pat Mahomes, so give that man a couple more weapons, and I don't think definitely MVS is not the answer by any means to replace Tyreek. So they're gonna throw a number of different guys in that role, in the Tyreek role, and just try to see what works the best. So getting another quality receiver, a guy in Treylon Burks that could end up being, a top 5, top 3 receiver in this class. It's all going to depend on how these guys perform. But if he lands on the Chiefs, he could be, for sure. No doubt about it. Honestly, whichever receiver lands on the Chiefs in this draft could end up being the best receiver, at least in year one, given that they need these weapons immediately. So I would imagine the receiver they pick here is going to come in and play right away.
Yeah, great receiver draft. 6 or 7 receivers going to go in the first round. I think Kansas City takes whatever best available receiver they have is left with one of these 2 picks. I don't think MVS obviously is the guy. And so, yeah, I think they take more of a guy to get a shot at being a number 1. Good trade of Tyreek Hill as well. You can't pay your quarterback and your receivers $80 million combined. It's almost
exactly
cap. So they had to do what they had to do.
Completely agree there. Cincinnati Bengals, second to last pick in the first round, 31st pick. This is another one that, kind of stunned me because they're obviously a contender and they just went to the Super Bowl and they definitely need some tune-ups on the defensive end, but their linemen were just atrocious last year. And I know that they've made moves this offseason and have already beefed up their offensive line, but I think at this point they're just going to continue to do so. And Kenyon Green, he's going to be a solid lineman in the NFL. I already had Zion going. Otherwise, this was my other option at this pick was Zion Johnson. So I had to go with the next available after Zion, which in my eyes would be Kenyon Green from Texas A&M.
I just like Zion's versatility here for the Bengals.
Yes.
They obviously signed Karras and Kappa, so their center right guard position is pretty much tuned up, and Jonah Williams at left tackle was their only pretty much good performing offensive lineman last year, so I think they'll keep him.
Jonah's good.
And I like Zion's ability to either take Jackson Carman's left guard role that he struggled at points last year if he doesn't step up, or Lyle Collins' right tackle role. So it's nice to have Zion be able to jump in at one of these 2 positions if he plays out. But the Williams, Karras, Kappa combo is 3 very good offensive linemen, and they could bring in a nice rookie to be trained there and be helpful. And then, man, the Bengals offense is going to be scary if they can actually protect Joe Burrow. Because what Burrow did getting sacked the most times in the NFL last year, imagine if he gets sacked even half those times or 3/4 of those times. Holy cow.
Insane. Absolutely insane jump they'd be able to make if they could protect that man. Last pick of the first round, Detroit Lions. We are in agreement here, as we mentioned way earlier in the draft, that they're going to pick quarterback with this last pick of the first round. I think there's definitely, out of Matt Corral, Sam Howell, Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Desmond Ridder, one of those 5 is going to be available at this pick, 100%. That's why I don't think they're going to be even remotely worried about picking a quarterback with that second pick because they know they're going to be able to get one of these guys. And Jared Goff is definitely their quarterback for this year anyways. So they wouldn't, I can't picture them starting any of those 5 quarterbacks over Jared Goff in the first year anyways. So at this point, Matt Corral was the last quarterback out of those 5 that I had available. So I think they're going to go Matt Corral here. You have Matt Corral over Sam Howell. You're a little higher on Corral than Howell.
I don't like Howell. I think Howell's a bust. Maximum backup quarterback in the league. I hate his intangibles. I don't like his decision making. Ton of things I don't like about Howell. I just went Corral here just because of his upside ability. He obviously was a top 5 high school recruit. He's a 5-star recruit. Has a bunch of talent based. What's the word I'm looking for? Talent-based recognition based on that. And I think that he just had a couple of bad things happen there at Ole Miss for him. So I think he could maybe have some potential given his pedigree from high school. That's why I went Corral over Howell. But Howell could definitely go in the first round. I just personally think he's not my favorite. So that's why I went Corral over Howell here.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not high on Howell at all either. But the only reason why I had him thrown in this first round is that stuff that I've seen that the Saints like him a lot. So they have him on his board.
I think Howell might get dogged because of Trubisky too. We see a lot of similarities between those 2, the schools they played at, the starts that they have had, and a lot of type of things like that. So Howell might drop a little bit because of that too. I don't know, but I threw that in there. Then let's go! We got her done, y'all. The draft is done. Sorry it took
That's
so
our final mock
long,
draft.
but
there we
that's
go.
it. The draft is next week, so here we go.
This
Hopefully
week,
you're not
Thursday.
This week. That's what I meant. Sorry. Hopefully you're not saying kill me now, but if you are, then hopefully this trivia makes up for it when Bus butchers it. So we'll go with it here and pull it up for you all. Okay. Which player was selected number 1 overall but didn't sign with that team and instead decided to play another sport? This guy was taken number 1 overall by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, decided to play another sport instead.
And assuming before I was born.
Yes.
God, he was not. Oh. This guy went to play baseball, didn't he? Maybe it was football or basketball then. Honestly, you're going to tell me. I don't know.
You got to have a guess. You got to get better at this. You got to at least throw something out there on me. Jeez.
Because I don't want to throw out people that the only people I have in my head right now who I know are completely incorrect. So
I don't think so. I think one of the people you have in your head is the right answer, but I think you're just too much of a chicken to say it.
Bo Jackson's final answer.
It is Bo Jackson.
That's
why I said I knew one of those guys is going to be the guy. Jackson was drafted in 1986 by the Buccaneers, decided to play baseball, and then later came back to the NFL, landed with the Raiders, way better team and culture at that point, had obviously a Hall of Fame, super successful career till he broke his hip. So it was Bo Jackson.
Can't believe I actually got that right. For some reason, I was really, really down that.
Yeah, you're second guessing yourself. Come on, you can't do that. We made it to the end, people. I think this is our longest episode. We're probably going to cross 2 hours here after Q&A, but we'll get to that.
Q&A this week. We only got one.
Get all you boys out of
here.
Get all the people out of here.
All right. One question this week for Q&A. Spinny's buddy Connor, who's the one who helped us get us on the radio. He asked, like, the biggest change in sports rule-wise. Right,
not this Connor. I'm sorry. I lied to you. This is Connor Forbrook.
This is Forbrook. Okay.
Yes. Yep. He was on our MLB episode. He's the one that threw this out there.
So yeah, biggest change in sports rule related, right? That's kind of like the way he was thinking. Yep. I'm gonna go. I was thinking about this. This is tough because honestly, there's so many different rules that have been implemented across the 3 major sports. I think I'm going to go 3-point line. I'm going to go 3-point line. It took another, 20 years. Obviously Steph Curry is like the main guy who's pushed it into a for sure 3-point dominant league, but still it took a little bit for it, the impact to be very, very significant. But the 3-point line you literally go from only having 2-point shots anywhere on the court to now being awarded an extra point if you shoot behind this line, So I think that's the biggest rule change to me. And as we've seen now in today's game, that's how everyone plays. It's layups and threes is pretty much the mold of today's NBA. So it's definitely changed the NBA a ton. And I don't know. It's tough. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this question, Spinny, because there's so many different rules you could throw out here across the sports.
I think that one's a big one. I didn't necessarily go in-game rule. I more went off-season rule, and that is NFL free agency. That's what came to mind for sure for me. I think it completely changed the sport in the 90s, and especially has even evolved more to now where stars are requesting out before free agency. And it's led to this huge star power change in the NFL. And I think that free agency was really what started that. It led players to realize that it's not necessarily about the team and the brand, and it's more about putting the best players together on a team. And I think the NFL is the most team-oriented sport. I think it's the most, you have 22 guys at least affecting the offense and defense plus special teams guys. It's the most team oriented. It's about us sport. And I think free agency gave players the power they deserve in the NFL. And I think that it could even go farther than it is. But I think that free agency is really what knocked that into gear and what made the NFL sport it is today. And what I believe is the best and it's definitely the most U.S. popular. But I think it's my favorite. It's my favorite sport, and I think it's taken over baseball as America's pastime. So I think that a lot of that change comes from competitiveness, and a lot of the competitiveness and even playing field in the NFL comes from free agency and how much your teams can change from year to year.
Yeah, I like that take as well. So if you guys have any other thoughts than what Spinny and I just said, drop your comments below, because this was something that there's truly so many different possibilities for this question. Don't you think? Like there's a ton of impactful rule changes throughout time of these leagues. So yeah, I'm interested in hearing you guys. Forbrook, especially since you gave us this question, we want to hear your thoughts as well. I know you're going to be listening still at this point of the episode. So
yeah, we just want to say we love you all. We're glad you listened to this. I just wanted to point here. We got my new jersey up this week. USA basketball. This man was on the Dream Team, the only college basketball player on the Dream Team. So we'll wait for next week to kind of reveal that to you. But
Bus another is just hint, a hater. I hate him.
Bus is just a hater. But
I hate him because of this.
We want to thank you all for listening and for supporting us as much as you have. We just want to ask you to go hit the subscribe button on YouTube. That's our big thing. We're trying to get you all to do this week. Even if you don't listen to us on YouTube, go check us out. You can see our faces on there. It's pretty fun. And just hit the subscribe button. Pump us up a little bit, and also comment and let us know what you think of the pod and everything else we've been doing. I also wanted to give a shout out to Al in the Afternoon and KTOE and all those combos and everything that they gave us a shot to get on the radio, and they gave us a little surprise that we'll reveal to you in the future. But huge shout out to Al and to KTOE. And also Connor for getting us on the show in the first place. Shout out to all of you. We love it. We love working with you, and we hope to do more in the future.
Absolutely.
Toast to hard-headed fans. We love you. Have a wonderful night.
That is episode 11. See y'all next week.